What is up, guys? I have another video for you. This time it's about the scientist. I know it's been a couple days since since my last one, but I just wanted to make sure that I since there was DLC, I wanted to make sure that I play with the new abilities, and when I give you guys information, I want to make sure that it's current and it makes sense, and I don't really leave out anything. I want to make sure that what I'm telling you guys actually is truthful and not I don't leave anything out. So uh, that's why it's been a little while. I had to unlock the abilities for every class, and uh, after using them, I have came to a decision about what is the best thing, like what is the best skin to use on the scientist. And uh, even before the abilities came out, I already had one in mind, which is the chemist, which is the one I'm playing right now. But after the abilities came out, I pretty much definitely went with the chemist. Uh, Before I explain why, though, I wanted to talk about the new abilities as well as the guns that go with every variant, because it helps explain why I choose certain things. But first, the new ability. Uh, there's the energy warp, which gives you invulnerability. I don't have it on the chemist currently on the gameplay we're watching, but it gives a 5-second invulnerability, or roughly 5 seconds, and but you don't warp like instantly. So because of that, you don't travel a large distance quick. You just travel that distance, but invulnerable. So I mean, there's trade-offs, and I may explain which variants go well with it. But so far on the chemist, I didn't really like it after I played it for several games, about a day, and um, uh, I just didn't it didn't fit the playstyle that I felt like the chemist needed to have. Um, and that's for a few things I'll explain in a little bit. But there's also the armored heal, which I personally didn't it didn't really make much sense. Because no one really, I didn't find my heal being destroyed constantly. Mainly I felt like there were people who were shooting at me, not my actual heal. So it didn't really matter. That upgrade didn't really change anything for me. It didn't really, bring anything new to the table. But what I did, and I still need to experiment on, is the medic ball, the little ball that heals. I don't know the name right now, but it's pretty much turns your sticky balls into a big old heal ball, and it goes off after roughly 2 seconds or so. And uh, I've still, even though I played with it for about 2 days, I still am kind of still trying to learn the correct usage of it, because it goes off fairly quickly. Not doesn't go off, but I mean it comes off cooldown fairly quickly, and you can use it really fast. Not like the sticky balls where it takes a while to recharge. It feels like it takes like 30 seconds for every sticky ball to come back up. But with the heal ball, it feels like it takes just roughly 10 seconds, and that's big because it heals for 50. And I found that when you use it before you go in to fight someone, like preemptively, while they're hitting you, you activate this heal. But what I didn't like about the actual heal ball, which I'm still trying to get used to, is the range of the heal, because it feels like it's fairly short and you have to kind of hug the ball itself. So in that sense, with the chemist, it feels like, because it's a very range limited gun, you put yourself uh, in an awkward position if you're not in range of them. So really, I'm trying to figure out if it's just me doing bad placements with the heal ball, or is it the gun itself just kind of not really meshing well. And I want to say it's both, but I still need to work on it some more. Work just to make sure that I'm playing the class correctly, and that's what I want to make sure when I upload, when I make these videos. I want to make sure that I'm doing things correctly and I'm playing the class around its strengths and not trying to, utilizing it to its fullest and not really giving the correct, giving everything the correct, you know, uh, recognition that it deserves. Because if I don't use the heal ball properly, then I'm just gonna say it's awful when, in fact, it could have been good. So that's why I still need to experiment with it more. But so far, it's kind of I've had good things. Like I've had definitely in this video, you're gonna see like some really clutch heals from the heal ball. But then other times, I just kind of misplaced it and didn't even receive the heal and ended up dying. So. Uh, that's why I'm still kind of iffy about it. Yeah, so those are the two things. And so to go into the actual video, why I think the chemist is the best. When we compare it to to the actual scientist, the original variant, I feel like the chemist is better because even though the goo blaster does 40 damage, so does the chemist. It does 40 damage as well and has a faster fire rate. However, it has a shorter range. But I feel that is easily made up for with the warp ability because you can just instantly go up into someone's face, warp in their face, shoot them up a couple times, and then warp out for safety. But so I don't feel like the range on the chemical breaker, which is the chemist gun, I don't feel like it's really a big problem. Because the scientist also has a natural movement speed. You move faster when playing the scientist than any other zombie class. So um, because of that, the range and the increase in the warp and your quick run speed, it doesn't really affect the range of the chemical blaster that much. So I feel like um, even though it does the same amount, even though it has lower range, it doesn't really affect it that bad. And also, since it has a quicker fire rate, that means you can kill people faster. And another thing that makes it even better is that the chemical breaker is like a sawed-off shotgun. In that sense, you don't need to lead your shots, which is a huge part of this game. Leading your shots would make sure that you hit the target, but also makes it so it kind of puts in more skill into the game where you have to, factor in how fast your target is moving and which direction they'll go. But with the chemical breakers, you just kind of point and shoot, and in that sense, it's really easy to pick up and get tons of kills. I've gotten, 5, was it pentakills or however you want to say it, 5 kills in a row, and that was just all in my first game. It was just a really easy gun to pick up, and that's because the bullets spread in, a huge area, and they also here's one of the biggest parts of the gun, which I felt was nearly overpowered, which was that the gun shot down and it shot up. It's because not so much up, but it's the part that when it shoots down, it kind of counters the cactus in the sense that usually when I play a cactus, when I see a scientist kind of rushing up on me, I would run, put myself in between a potato mine, so he has to run into the potato mine to get close to me. And I kind of like, duck and dodge, dance around it if he notices what I'm doing. But with the chemical breaker, you just shoot in the direction, you clear the ground of potato mines and spike weeds, and you just don't need to think when you use the gun. You just shoot in a point, say like Gardens of Graveyards, you shoot in the point, and then pretty much everything in that point is cleared out. It's like a huge, a huge broom, and you just clear the area without really trying that hard. So in that sense, if you compare it to like the regular scientist, you have to take the time to actually shoot the potato mine, and then also if you're killing multiple targets, if you're trying to kill multiple targets, you have to shoot each individual and make sure you're up close to do maximum amount of damage, and then shoot each target while making sure that if you hit another target, you're trying to make sure that you don't get two people's attention at once. So you kind of want to kill them from the back, but without getting one's attention, and so it doesn't turn into like a 2v1. While if you use a chemical breaker, you simply point and shoot at your targeted group or enemies, and you hit all of them at once for 40 damage. So in that sense, I feel like the scientist, even though it does the same amount of damage, the chemical breaker can do more if you shoot at 2 or more targets, and it has a faster fire rate. So that's why I feel like the chemist is just overall a better variant. And on to the next one, the physicist. I personally, when I used the physicist for the first time, I did not have the upgrades. And when I used it, I didn't really feel like I was being extremely effective with it. I felt like the regular old scientist was better. Um, that's because you don't do that much damage unless you're up close, but your fire rate is very limited, and it's dependent. Your damage is really dependent on if there's clumped up targets or not. So uh, your damage is lowered if you're only shooting at one target, and while the chemical breaker is a constant 40 damage no matter what, to however many targets are in your area or line of fire. And the chemical breaker itself, I mean the EMP frazzle launcher, which is the gun of the physicist, it's meant for, I feel like when I played it, it's meant for mid-range, but uh, it does the most effective damage close. However, the gun itself is makes me just play very kind of medium range, kind of far back. So I feel like with more practice, I could have been a little bit better, but um, I just didn't really, I just didn't really like it compared to the chemist, because uh, even even if I was shooting one target, I would come out ahead as a chemist instead of the the physicist, and because of that, I just feel like the chemist is a lot better. No, so on to the next one, which is Dr. Toxic. I had mixed feelings about this one as well. That's because a lot of its damage is done from damage over time, and if you're far away, you'll kind of like, you only shoot them for like 2 damage, but if you're close, you'll do a lot more than that. So it does less initial damage, like a lot of the other guns, if you're not close, but you'll do more damage if you're up close, and your dots, I believe they will do more damage. But um, again, that's like kind of like the physicist. It does less initial damage, so you're not like an assassin, kind of like the chemist. It's because you can shoot and kill someone extremely fast and then warp out, which I feel like that's the strength of the scientist because of the abilities they give him. They give him 2 teleports, and they give him sticky bombs and a heal. That's pretty, and a heal. So that's pretty much makes you kind of like an assassin in a sense, because you can warp in, throw your sticky balls, or preemptively throw a heal ball, eat up some damage, heal, then warp out after you kill, 1 or 2 targets. And the Dr. Toxic, I feel like you need a large amount of initial damage, so just pretty much large base damage, and not really depend on your actual after effects, like a damage over time. So that's why I feel like when I play the scientist, I want strong burst damage, just damage that I can put out really quickly, no matter even if it's 1 or 2 shots. I want to be able to put those 1 or 2 shots for 80 damage and then run away because I have 2 teleports. And that's the way I like to play the scientist, and because of that, I feel like the Dr. Toxic, even though he does have the area that passive damage of being near someone gives him damage, like damage him, not gives him damage, but damages his targets for 2 damage a second. Even though that's good, that encourages to be up close. But when you're up close, you like I said before, the Dr. Toxic doesn't do a lot of initial damage, so it relies a lot on that damage over time. So it requires you to really stick near your targets for a certain amount of time, and since you also have only 100 health, that's definitely a danger to, dying. Puts you in danger of dying a lot. So I feel like I could have done a little bit better when I played it, but when I compared it to like the way I played on the on the chemist, and then on Dr. Toxic, I felt like I just got more kills, and overall, my play was better. Like I got more kills and least deaths, more multi kills, and just overall, just I felt like I was playing better when I played the chemist. So that's why I don't really like the Dr. Toxic that much. Um, and then on to the next one, which is the astronaut. The astronaut is actually a long-range scientist, and he's the one I feel like benefits the most from the energy warp, which is the invulnerability teleport or uh, movement movement ability. It's because uh, with the energy warp, since you don't cover large distance quickly. You mainly, you become invulnerable, so you don't take any damage. I feel like that in itself is like benefits more long range scientists or scientist variants um like the phys like Dr. Toxic in a way, or like physicist. You can use them on physicist, Dr. Toxic, or astronaut, because you can use those classes in medium range, so they would benefit not from getting up in someone's face as much, but kind of getting in and out of danger so you don't die. And uh, the chemical breaker, since it's a chemical breaker, you have short range, you need to get in someone's face to do damage. And because of that, I use the regular teleport warp. Uh, so on the astronaut, I would suggest using energy warp instead, because you don't need to get in someone's face. You have very low amount of damage, and you're pretty much meant to just hit people from afar. And that's, even though that's my playstyle on other classes, on a scientist, I love to get in someone's face. So it's just not a class that I like. And even though he looks cool, it's just not a class that I like to play. I don't like to play the scientist like that. Because I feel like the actual warps are an extremely strong ability. Covering a distance very fast is actual in this game. It's really strong, especially since there's a lot of obstacles and things that you can teleport through, and you can just take advantage of that by just making people chase you, and then they're not able to catch up to you, and then while doing that, picking up so many kills. It's a fun play style I like to use. And when I play the astronaut, it just kind of makes me play completely different. And when I play like that, I don't necessarily do that well. So I mean, it's up to you since it's your play style, but for me, I don't like it. So because of that, I'm not a fan. And then I and then for a while before I had the level 10, I used a marine biologist. The marine biologist is it's a very good gun. It's just, I would have to say it's an inconsistent gun. It benefits the most from using warp, the regular warp, because you have to get in someone's face and then burst them down with your extreme fire rate and your large amount of damage up close to kill a target. But I feel like you can do large amounts of damage, but you have to be extremely close. And I found that after playing for a lot of games as a Dolphin gun, I found that even though I was in someone's face a lot, sometimes I would only hit them for 20 damage, and then other times I would hit them for like 40 or 80, or not 80, but just I'm not sure how as high as I'm not sure how high the Dolphin gun can go, but I know that you can hit for roughly around, I would say roughly around 50 damage, and uh, but you have to be in someone's face. But it was just really inconsistent, and I didn't really enjoy it because I felt like I should have killed the guy, but he didn't survive, because that range in between having a lethal amounts of damage and and only hitting someone for 20 damage is very short. It's really kind of up in your face. Uh, you have to be up in their face to be able to do that much damage, and uh, I just felt like with the chemical breaker hitting for a constant 40 damage every time, no matter what. Uh, I felt like those numbers, those constant numbers, I felt like it was just more consistent gun, and I found myself getting a lot more kills. So it's pretty much the same playstyle as the chemist because you have that short range, uh, but you can still not as short as the chemist because the chemist just absolutely doesn't shoot uh, far away because with the dolphin gun you can still shoot players, from where I'm at right now to the stairs, but uh, with the chemist, you can't do that at all. So I feel like with dolphin gun, you have less consistency than with the chemist, and because of that, I like the chemist more. Uh, so from least useful to most useful, I would have to go with the astronaut being the worst. Then I would have to go with the This part's hard because the physicist and Dr. Toxic, I feel like they're around the same level in terms of actual killing potential. But I mean, I would say it's personal preference with how you play it. So those two, I would say they're the same. And then I would put the scientist next because of the long range damage that it can do and the up close damage it can do. And then I would have to go with the marine biologist because of that burst potential that you can have in someone's face. If you teleport in someone's face, you can hit them for 60 damage in their face just really fast. And uh, then I have to go with the chemist, which is the amount of just the fact that you don't have to lead your shots to get kills, and you just have to point and shoot your gun in the direction of your enemies, and you can shoot 4 or 5 targets if that's as many as there are there. So because of that, I feel like the chemist is just an overall better gun, and uh, even like right now, honestly, I feel like it's a tad overpowered, but that's my preference. So. I'm gonna have to end this commentary here, and I hope you guys liked the video. And I will be doing, I think pea shooter next. So, um, I'll try to bring that to you guys soon. But I want to make sure that when I do a video, I have everything down. I have the abilities, mastered to a certain degree. And pea shooter is definitely one of my second favorite class. So second favorite in terms of uh, the amount of when I played it first, I leveled mainly the foot soldier and the pea shooter. So I will be bringing you guys this video, the pea shooter next, unless you guys want something in the comments, like really want a different class. But that's what I plan on. So yeah, thanks for watching, and share it to your friends or whoever else might like PvZ, and take it easy.